And, you know, as leaders and as HR professionals, it's impossible for us to know what every single person in the organization needs. But we can still have that as an aspirational thing that we want for each of our leaders in the organization to know about their teams and be able to support them through that, because that will be evident as you're hiring people.
So we actually have another a panel conversation that we'll be doing here, and I'm excited about this panel conversation because it is all about the future of people and culture. And so why not bring up two extraordinary people that you've already met. This is Craig Johns and Diane McCabe. Yay! Woo! Thank you. Hey, hey.
That's it.
Sorry. So the first question I wanted to ask is just in and around the last 3 years. I mean, look, we've never, ever seen, change the way that we've all experienced. And not only that, you know, obviously how much has this massively affected people and culture in general. So let's look back first, then we'll have a look forward. So the last 3 years, what have you noticed? What are we noticing? What are we doing now differently? Diane?
Oh, looking back, huge amount of stuff to go through there. We've all lived and breathed this. But when I look back, we went from, you know, running around with lots of little projects and initiatives going on in our organizations, and we felt like we were humming along nicely. And then we got hit on every front. So not just we had to change how we worked, we had to change how we went to the shops, we had to change how we schooled our kids, everything. And from a leadership perspective, we're used to ushering people through change, and there might be one or two initiatives that are going on in the organization at a time. But all of a sudden, we had everything needed to change right now. And on top of that, people were struggling with everything changing back home as well. Yeah. So the greatest thing that came out of that is we were reminded of how adaptable we are as a species. There is no doubt about it. We all raised up. Totally plenty of war wounds, plenty of stories to be told. But we did it collectively. We're all here to tell the tale, or many of us are.
Yeah, and at first it was pretty difficult initially. And Craig, from your perspective as well, at the time you were running CEO Triathlon Australia, is that right? So when it does come to, you know, really navigating the last couple of years in a you know, national CEO role, what were some of the challenges, and what did you notice in the last couple of years?
Yeah, very good. I mean, obviously we were working in sport, so we were unsure whether when events would occur, we'd have any money because we're all membership based. And so overnight, it literally started to dry up in the world of sport. So we were like considering, are we actually relevant anymore? Yes, we need to be. People need to be physically active when we know how important that is for our mental health. But in the same sense, we're like, we can't give any opportunities. What's going to happen? How long is this going to be? Have we got enough reserves? And so we had to try and keep our people, I suppose, sane. You know, we all went through that space of like, yes, comfort. Sure, we're going to keep you. We're going to keep you on the payroll. You're going to get paid. It's all okay. But in the back of their minds, they're going, oh, well, hang on, you've got no races. Who's going to buy a membership? How are we going to actually fund this? Are sponsors even going to continue sponsoring? So from a CEO perspective, it was a very, very challenging space around, are we actually relevant anymore? And are we going to be able to survive as somewhat a species, as in sport? But one of the beautiful things is that it brought everyone a lot closer together. And so for me, I was able to leave the triathlon sport in a really safe space. We actually ended up with more reserves after 6 months than what we did prior, by being very clever around how we shifted things around. We never let anyone go. But then it was around, okay, how do we adapt and change the way that people can interact and engage through our medium of what we did as an organization? So it was about being very resourceful rather than resources. And I can honestly say I'll go back to my family and growing up on a farm in New Zealand with the nearest neighbour being 1 mile away, and going to a school where we only had 26 kids in in my first year there from ages 5 to 12 and 7 at the end. We had to teach as students. We became very resourceful without the resources you would normally have in a schooling environment. And so from those places, I was able to transform that quickly into our own working environment and then to create a couple of businesses at the same time.
We've actually heard earlier on, even for HR people here, that look, it's hard now to recruit, to find the right people. So then the question here is, what does it look like to be an employer of choice for the future? Diane.
I think, yeah, that's the $1 million question, and here it is for everyone in the room. It's like, I wish I could answer that for you. I wish I had that magic wand. Personally, like my role for many years, for 20 years now, has been supporting corporate organizations through change. So as an organizational change manager and as a coach. And for me, the key to managing change, so yes, we have to usher our organizations through lots of change. We have to mobilize everybody, but now it's down to the individual. And it's about, what do you need? What do you need? What's important to you? And you know, as leaders and as HR professionals, it's impossible for us to know what every single person in the organization needs. But we can still have that as an aspirational thing that we want for each of our leaders in the organization to know about their teams and be able to support them through that. Because that will be evident as you're hiring people. That will be evident on the grapevine. People will know that, okay, you're valued, you're known. So it's not got to do with, you know, what is your employee value proposition in terms of all of your, you know, your vacation, all of your perks that you're, you know, do you have a gym on site? Do you have a, you know, the flexible workplace? It really is, what is it down to the individual and what's important to them.
And Craig, do you think technology will play a part in, you know, in a way, you know, building a positive culture in the workplace?
Now, this is fascinating, and I've had some discussions with some people in the room around this. And I love technology. I grew up as a scientist, and you know, technology was a big part of it. But the future of leading people and culture is not about technology. And sorry for the technology people in the room, it's not about technology. If people don't feel like they feel cared for, that their work that they do matters, that they feel like they can connect and belong, and we can have those important relationship discussions and interactions, the technology is pointless. Yes, it can add value, but it is not the core of the future of leading people and culture. And we're seeing that even more and more. People are not jumping from paycheck to paycheck because of technology. They're jumping from paycheck to paycheck because they're in a job where they just have to tick a box and get paid. But if you shift that to being cared for, and it's a place where they feel like they belong, and they truly know that the people believe in them because their work that they do matters, it's a game changer. But yes, technology can help, but it's the cream on the crop. If you don't get the 99% right first, forget the 1%ers of technology. It's not going to help.
Yeah, in my perspective. Great. Hey, look, I can have the conversation for ages on this. And Craig, I do actually want to acknowledge you. For those people that don't know, Craig, over the last couple of years, is literally as soon as COVID started, he then launched Speakers Institute Corporate, and has been one of the fastest growing training companies in the world, which is quite extraordinary. And not only that, he's developed a phenomenal culture of team members, of facilitators, where literally, as you can see, we're facilitating all around the world. So you've done this really, really well, and I did just want to acknowledge him. Come on, let's give him a hand. I think it's awesome. Thank you. All right, in closing, one statement. The future of people and culture, if there was one thing you wanted to leave everyone with, what would that one statement be? And I'm putting you on the spot here, both of you. Do you want some time? Or
yeah, no, I'll go straight in. Yeah, I'm not even going to breathe deep on this one. For me, it goes on what I've said already. It's individualization. So it's not herding the masses through everything, treating one size fits all. It's really seeking that individual and that one-to-one human connection with people.
It's great. Great.
To me, it's about being an inspiring great leader who inspires great leaders through the way of showing that it's okay to not be right all the time. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay for you to show that all the people that you work for, that the work that they do matters and that you care for them.